Today we have two fantastic guests, two tour operators as a matter of fact, friends and colleagues of mine. I'm Mark McCarthy.
Hello, Brenda.
Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
And Jill Curran.
Hi, Brenda.
Now, Jill, you tell me you're not a good cook.
I will tell you I'm not a good cook.
When I asked you to come on and be part of the show, you were like, I can't cook.
I am really smart in that I surround myself with other people that are way better cooks than
And
I.
you like food, so you know what you like.
I
right?
do.
So
I do.
when you
Yeah.
so in a cooking competition, what you want to do is go default to what you like.
All right. I
All
will
right.
remember that because I'm normally around people who are much better cooks than I. So
Right.
that's what I.
So Mark, sounds like you might have the edge, maybe?
I would say no. I'm not a good cook either. I've never had to in my life, really. When I went to university, I spent 6 years on a meal program. That'll tell you where I sit.
Right.
And I am, like Jill, fortunate enough to have people around me who actually do the cooking. But I'm an awesome taster.
Right,
And
but you
I'm
like food.
I like food,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to tasting Jill's dish and telling her if it's any good.
Well, it sounds like we've got an equal competition here today. When we come back, we'll open up the basket of ingredients. Stay tuned to Scoff Off.
Yeah, I am a chatty person and I am a multitasker, but sometimes cooking a meal can take several hours for me because I do get very distracted and get into my story. So I freely admit I lost track of time very quickly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I liked her talking, she got distracted, and it allowed me to focus on something I didn't know how to make.
Welcome back to Scoff Off. Okay, guys, before we open the basket and go over the rules, there's 30 points in total. There's 10 points for taste, 10 points for use of your basket ingredients. So you don't have to use every single bit of everything in the basket, but you gotta use some of everything in the basket. And there's 10 points then for presentation. So garnish. Anyway, over here is your pots and pans. And behind us is the pantry and the fridge. You can use anything you see to enhance your basket of ingredients if you like. Okay? And you got everything in front of you that you may need. Okay, let's open the baskets. This is the part I like, the drum roll.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so it is trout.
It is trout.
It's trout. She did say that.
Some cauliflower rice.
Okay.
Right? You're always using that, aren't you?
Oh,
red
yeah.
pepper, we all know what that is,
Red
right?
pepper.
And a little seasoning, some peri-peri
peri-peri.
seasoning. Okay, guys,
Excellent.
stick your baskets away. Gather your thoughts. It's time to scoff off.
Thank you. I have never cooked cauliflower rice.
Well, I
before.
think it's probably almost cooked, is it not?
Cauliflower rice was a new thing to me, so I had to do some quick reading on that. I had never microwaved, well, I didn't even know it needed to be microwaved. I'd never had cauliflower rice, so that was a new thing for me to wrap my head around how I was going to use.
You can do whatever you want with this, or you can just do that.
Will do.
So, Mark, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I've never cooked in much beyond that which came in a package before, so now I have a trout to tackle. Well, I look in and I see trout. I've never cooked trout. We don't generally cook it in our house, so I really didn't have a big clue as to what to do with it. Did I have to debone it? Do I got to skin it? I don't know what to do with the trout. I've only seen it cooked in flour on the side of a pond.
Right. Well, at least it's all clean for you. I didn't ask you. I didn't
Yeah.
get you to take a fresh trout and take the head off and all that.
No.
Yeah. Because
So are you getting some ideas right
You
away,
can leave
Matt?
the skin on. You don't have to take it off. or you
I
can
am
take it
going
off
to,
and-
yeah, I have some ideas.
So, guys, I introduced you as, tour operators. Of course, you're way
Yeah.
more than that. I mean, you're on the front lines of, people coming into the province and non-resident visitors mostly is who you're dealing with, right?
Yeah. It is a great honor because we're all proud Newfoundlanders
for?
and Labradorians.
Tinfoil.
Tinfoil? Yeah, right there in that first tour. No,
And-
next one. Oh, no, it's not.
I better get going. He's looking like he's
Mark, I know where it
really
is.
on it.
Yeah.
But
Look for something non-stick.
No.
Oh, tinfoil,
I was
okay.
going to wrap it and bake it.
Oh, he wants
Do I
tinfoil.
have time to bake it?
Oh, you do? You do have time. The oven's on.
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get a pot to boil some potatoes. I think I'm gonna
Okay.
do- So we have to use everything, right? That's part of the point system,
You have
Brenda?
used some of everything in your basket for sure. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you want to get that on fast now. That's good. Take that one. Put some water in it. Water's over there by Mark.
Mark.
So, Mark, we were just talking about being a tour operator. McCarthy's Party, your mom started that business in 1988, am I correct?
1982.
82.
Yeah.
My gracious.
Believe it or not.
She was a real trailblazer.
Yeah, literally, because when we started up, she had the notion that we could do these tours based on a conversation with the fellow who owned a company across Canada who wanted to come to Newfoundland. So we had to actually go out and scout out where could you take people in the province. So we all jumped in a station wagon that was 4 boys, mom and dad, one Easter, and just went out to Gross Mourne and went looking. And at that time, there really wasn't a lot of food service out there, so we the first restaurant she selected was Norm Parsons up on the side of the road in Rocky Harbour, who was doing lunches for the road crews at the time.
Right.
And he said he couldn't sit us down, but we could sit in his house. So for the first 8 years of the business, we actually sat in his living room and ate soup sandwiches, and she called them tighteners, which were little cookies at the end.
Oh, right. Okay.
And that was
Tighten your pants?
tighten up the meal. That was
I
her
never heard
line.
that before.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that's how it started, and she just did that all over the island until we had a tour.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, really thrilled. Has she won any awards for that?
She did win,
she's won
I guess, whatever the ones that are available,
yeah.
she went through the circuit on, which
Right.
means I can't win them.
Oh, that's not true.
That's what I tell her.
Because you've reinvented McCarthy's already.
Yeah, obviously I did, but I did it with industry partners. As more became available, then we started offering more.
Right.
And as tourism spread to every little nook and cranny in Newfoundland and Labrador, we tried to find our way to those nooks and crannies, and more and more people were there to help us. So yeah, I mean, Mom did an awesome job kicking it off, and then, like I said, as it became more available, we did our thing.
You know, a lot of tourism businesses are family businesses. They end up being family businesses because you're all in. There's no pretending you're in the tourism industry, right?
No.
You know, you're in or you're not in. And Jill, of course, you own Maxim Vacations, Maxim Tours, and Fearland Lighthouse Picnics.
I do, and both are, very much family business. My sister and my father work with us at Maxim, and we bought it from a family, from the
Right.
Sparks family. But of course, there's many more than besides myself and my dad and my sister that work there. And then Lighthouse Picnics started 18 years ago. And as I said, I was very cautious with you, Brenda, to say people should know that I'm not the main person in the kitchen.
You're not the chef in your organization?
At Lighthouse Picnics, so don't be alarmed if there's any potential customers or previous customers.
And I didn't give you sandwiches and lemonade.
You didn't give us sandwiches and lemonade, so you're putting me right out of my comfort zone.
There is fresh lemons over there, though, Jill. If you're so inclined, I could use some lemonade.
I may do that. I just may do that. So
yeah, I mean, I've taken in the Lighthouse Picnics a few times, and it is fantastic.
oh, thank you.
It
Brenda.
really is, truly. But when you started that, I mean, that was really unique. Nobody was doing anything like that.
No, it really was. I mean, I was living away. I was living in New Zealand at the time before I moved home, and I had this idea because my grandmother was born at the lighthouse that we operate from.
Oh, wow.
So every time I'd come home, I was away for about 8 years, and every time I'd come home, I'd go, oh my God, why hasn't someone done something with this beautiful lighthouse? So anyway, the idea, came in a kind of a lot of glass of red wine, if I was telling the truth. But yeah, a friend and I started it, and she had all the culinary skills and expertise. But over the years, we've grown to employ 13 people.
Right.
And fabulous bread makers, fabulous bakers. So it is still a small menu, but yeah, we're there all those years later. And from a tour perspective, as I was starting to say earlier, before I started to watch Mr. McCarthy get all kind of business like there.
The Galloping Gourmet.
I know he is. It's such an honor to do what we do because we get to tell people and bring people to the place we love and tell them why we love it. So it's essentially, getting to live, every day, being able to be ambassadors for our home.
And while it's hard work, because we all know how hard we all work, and you're all on, there's no pretending, it's enjoyable work.
I'm gonna start.
So it's something we all like to do for sure. Yes, you got to start cooking.
I do got to start cooking because I've been.
You keep talking, Jill. You're doing
No.
great.
He's really trying to.
Yeah, well, I mean, I liked her talking. She got distracted, and it allowed me to focus on something I didn't know how to make.
I am a chatty person and I am a multitasker, but sometimes cooking a meal can take several hours for me because I do get very distracted and get into my story. So I freely admit I lost track of time very quickly.
And Mark, so you didn't set out to take over your family business. You went to university.
Yep.
You were studying here at MUN.
Yep.
What were you studying at the beginning?
I did biochemistry. I did a joint major of biochemistry and English.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you found your way down to New Mexico.
Yeah, that's where I finished off the English degree. And
Right.
that
You
was,
from Angola?
yeah.
Okay.
And that
Yeah.
was quite interesting. You know, there's a whole different perspective coming from here and to go to a place like that where there was just so many different cultures meshed into a desert, really, in effect, right?
Jill, if you're going to use an oven, you can use the same
it
one.
was,
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I got to say, that was something that was kind of opened my eyes a bit to possibilities of what I could do myself.
Right.
And when I came back, I wasn't really sure at that point what I wanted to do, but I went to work at with Terranova Park Lodge, right? You were doing the concession there at the
That's
time.
right, yeah.
And I just started doing some corporate sales for them. And I kind of got a little taste for it. I always had it because I was working with Mom over the years, but it made me feel like there was potential for me in business. So
Right.
I went to Dalhousie then to do a master's, and
And so your master's was in...
I did an MBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did it in financial strategies for family enterprises.
Wow.
Well, I went there to do finance because I
Right.
kind of liked it, and
Yeah.
coming from a science background, finance and accounting is kind of easier.
Yeah.
But when I got in there, there was an awesome professor there from Ghana, Andrews Opam, who took me by the hand one day and said, "I don't think this is for you, buddy. You come down to the family enterprise with me." And he walked me in there and said, "I think we got a student for
How
you."
fantastic.
So I just changed my thesis to work on that program,
Right.
and we did
And
it.
your mom was ever so appreciative.
She really was, because at that point, you know, it was going to go one way or the other. Most of the other brothers had moved on.
Right.
And we were just thinking, what are we going to do here? Whoa.
Right.
So,
You know, he did sound like he was bringing his A game when I heard that sizzling. So, you know, I think there was a little bit of a strategy of keep her distracted talking to Brenda, and I'm just going to go in for the kill and hit some professional moves going. And that was a definite professional sounding kitchen happening there.
totally. That was full head game. I knew what I had to do there. She was yakking away on the side, and I knew the time was ticking, and I thought this will start her up. Whoosh.
But I was going to saute my veggies and do a separate pan with the is that
Yeah,
okay?
you use a burner over there too. Don't
I can use
don't
two?
Mark, don't know all four in.
Okay, gotcha. So I just want to...
Yeah. And we had a hard year in the tourism year in 2020, as we all know. COVID was hard on everybody, but our industry, of course, was hit really hard, fast.
Yep.
And it's going to take a long time for us to bounce back. And of course, we got to know each other a little bit more. Not that we didn't all know each other anyway.
Yeah.
By being on that Premier's Advisory Council for Tourism.
Yeah.
And so it's where I said I always match my hot cloth to the guests, and I deliberately put a red one up there with Canada symbol on there because we're so happy to be back open to non-resident visitors, right?
It's huge, Brenda. Like, it's been everything that we've been waiting for and working towards. And as I said, we've all felt like fish out of water this past year because we haven't been able to do the things that we've loved. And it's such an vital part of not only the culture of our province, but, you know, the economic piece, obviously, as well. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
So I'm going to, so you said I can use any of these?
yes, my
Yeah.
dear.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, Mark told me that. He got food in the oven. There's 10 minutes left, guys.
Oh,
I know, it goes really quickly, doesn't it?
Jeez. Can you
Just
tell
whips by.
that I'm
Doing
a little
fine.
bit behind here? I gotta get my trout
You're doing
on.
fine.
I'm running out of time, and I'm revealing that I surround myself by people that are much better chefs than I, and that's been the secret to our happy marriage and a successful business. So I was like, I better get going here.
At that point, my thought is she's not going to get this finished, so all I have to do now is be careful, don't overcook this rice, and get my salmon out on time, and I think I got a winner.
So how do you balance, Jill, being a mom and such a, you know, in the summer when your kids are out of school, it's when you're busiest.
It is, yeah. And I am very, very lucky. I live in Fairyland, and you know the expression, it takes a village. Well, I am super, super lucky to have a village, be it my mother and my sisters and cousins and everybody around, and they've got great friends in the neighborhood. So it is really it's a wonderful experience.
How old are your kids?
My kids their birthdays are yesterday and last week, so I got to get used to saying the new ages, 9 and 12.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, little.
So they're a little bit independent.
They're a little bit independent.
Yeah.
I got to get my trout on. I got to.
You
You're doing good, Jill.
Oh, I think Mark McCarthy's competitive. Now, Brenda, this one is...
Push it and turn to the left.
And it is this one right here.
Yep. That's perfect. Now, Mark, what are you doing? Oh, okay, you're having your cauliflower rice. Cauliflower rice. It's just close up cauliflower, right? Sounds so fancy.
I thought you had to microwave it. You can do whatever?
You can do whatever, yes. You don't have to microwave something.
Do not take my lead, Jill.
All right, I promise you I won't. So.
You know, it happens so many times how people copy other people. And,
And it never works out well? Is that what you want to say?
right? And so, Mark, it's that peri-peri seasoning.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is?
No.
Do you know peri-peri
Peri sauce?
chicken? Do you know peri-peri food?
There was, I knew the Perry McDonald.
Same one.
Jill, you say peri.
Well, up the shore we say purry. Because you know I'm from Furryland.
No, it is Portuguese.
Oh.
Yeah.
Should have known better because I spent a couple of weeks in Portugal eating exactly that, but never bothered to ask what this place was. So once I put it on there and I tasted my rice, I thought, oh, this is really familiar. And obviously it does add a lot to that type of rice.
Peri-peri chicken is their most known.
Yes.
Have you ever been to the big chicken chain called Peri Peri?
Oh, well,
Isn't there?
there's big, there's lots of Portuguese type things. Portugal and Newfoundland are very similar in cuisines, to be honest. because
Oh,
they have a lot of
really?
seafood.
Similar,
I
isn't
loved
it?
it.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
It is.
fantastic.
And I mean, so many dishes like bacalao and all those.
Exactly. Of course, we've had a big influence on our food here through the Portuguese sailors, right?
100%, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that. And
So I'm just going to season my
so how old is Maxim?
Maxim is actually like 35. Oops, I gotta do that. At 35 years old. Obviously,
Right.
I haven't owned it for
Don't be
35
afraid
years.
to use more.
Butter.
Yeah,
I will.
don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. We're not. on
Everything's good with
diets
butter.
today.
Don't worry about butter. It reminds me of the Galvin
I gotta
Gomez.
turn this
That's all he
down
ever used was butter.
because it's too hot. Yeah. But Brenda, I've owned it for 10 years, so that's my.
Story and you're sticking to it.
Now, Mark, you're really big into rugby.
Yeah.
I realized when he was talking about rugby, I got to get back to work because I was chatting it up with Brenda, not multitasking, just solely focused on what I was saying. And yeah, the rugby conversation is a passion of his. So I knew when he was going there, now's my time to make up for some lost time.
Do you play yourself?
I did play for a number of years. And then I stopped and became what they call an alakadoo. That's someone who supports it outside, both
Oh, I can do
with
that.
energy, energy and financially.
Alakadoo?
But then I got into coaching it, I guess 6 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm continuing on with that right now, and it's been really good. We got a
So
really good
young
community.
people or
Under 18s I've
Okay.
been coaching, and we've had some success with that group. Newfoundland bats well above its weight for rugby in Canada, just because we get good athletes, but also because we have extraordinary organizers and coaches.
Right.
So we bring in professional coaches. We had 2 from Wales who work with their groups. We still have Pat Parfrey involved, and his sons are now coming through and helping out. So
Right.
there's a super group of people around it. And the big news we received this year is that Memorial University is now going to have a rugby club.
Oh, really?
So starting this coming fall, we're going to have a team that's going to compete in the
fantastic.
Atlantic University Championships. And if we win that, we get to go to the Canadian University Championships. So we're pretty excited. That was a big move for us. It took a bit of work.
Yeah.
And we have some great funders behind it and some great coaches. And I think we're going to be able to get into that and compete right away at that level.
So that's fantastic. But so what's the difference in rugby and football?
Oh, well,
Lots. I suppose.
no equipment. The tackling goes on below the shoulders, and generally because you have no equipment on, so you got to protect your head all the time.
Ah,
So they learn at a very young age to clear their face when they make contact.
right.
And the other thing is the ball can only pass backwards. So you have to create space by running at a gap, dragging players, and then throwing it backward to another person to hit the gap.
Wow.
So it's to me one of the most athletic games that are out there because you have to be able to run, catch, physically put your body out there,
Sounds like it.
and it goes on for 80 minutes. So you have to be really physically fit to do it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's great. And there's a lot of pickup. There's a lot of people involved in rugby.
The high school system is pretty
5
strong.
minutes left, guys.
5.
High school system is pretty strong in St. John's, but it's not. Outside of St. John's, we haven't developed it as much as we want to, but we think Memorial University is going to be the segue into that because there's going to be what kids can play at university, scholarships, all the pieces that go along with university teams. So that's what
Right.
we're hoping.
Right.
We'll open it up.
So, Jill, one of the biggest problems we have here in the tourism industry is access to the province.
Can I just ask, will that be automatically on high? Because it says high for 60?
Yeah.
You don't have to set it on high? Sorry, access?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you were in charge,
yeah.
I know you have no desire to be premier. Maybe you do. I don't know. But
no, but thank you for.
not after this show, she said.
No.
So what can we do to fix the access problem? Because it is a problem. If we can't get people here, then we have no tourism.
Problem, and I mean, obviously through the pandemic, we've all, seen our businesses decimated, and obviously the airlines have seen, the similar case. So, if I had a magic wand, obviously we're going to see our demand increase now that we have an opening date. So there will be, obviously routes reinstated as a result of that. But the wonderful thing I think that's going to happen is there's new opportunities, I think, for us, because I've said several times, if our assets had a stock price in terms of our iconic natural features through the pandemic, they rose significantly.
You mean the assets of the province,
the
what people are looking
assets
for.
of what people are looking for, like, our wide open spaces, our small community sizes, like all of that. So I think there's going to be a bigger business case for us to see greater access as people kind of, discover us. Now, how many minutes, Brenda? Because I got to check my potatoes.
There's like 4 minutes left.
4? Oh,
Mark, you've had some well-known people in through the province. What's the biggest celebrity you've ever had to tour around?
We used to get to do quite a few because we had a service where we pick up the different performers at the airports, and then sometimes they would take tours.
Right.
I think one of the most interesting one was Reba McEntire, who was here for multiple.
You had her?
Yeah, she was here for multiple performances, and she kind of took a shine into the fellow who was taking her around, just liked him, and Larry Hand, right? Larry was around the corner here. And her and Larry went everywhere together. They went to Cape Spear, they went for a run over the Holy, anywhere. She had a bit of time. She'd say, Larry, where can we go? And her and Larry would go off and have a little look. So it was really, and she enjoyed it and wrote a nice note afterwards. So it was nice, experience that way. But other ones, the other funny one was,
Larry's awesome.
you hate telling tales out of school, but one was when we had Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And the handler said, you're going to know Bob because when his plane lands, this little guy in black clothes is going to walk off and he's going to have a cigarette lit.
Right.
I said, okay. And she said, so are you allowed, do you allow smoking in your car? And I said, no. And I figured she'd be happy with that, right? She said, well, Bob's going to smoke in your car. So,
you know.
You want Bob, that's it. And sure enough, he did. So,
2 minutes, guys.
yeah.
2 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, so so have you had any, like, Jill, have you had any real disasters? Like, things were like, oh my God.
Thankfully, Brenda, other than this meal, my disasters have been at a minimum. And actually, you know what? The wonderful thing is, even when things have gone wrong for us sometimes, for whatever reason, we are true kind of local on the ground people that come hell or high water, we're going to figure out a way to fix it.
Right.
And people, really respond to that. They're more than, understanding of the situation, and, have been great about, realizing that we've gone above and beyond to fix it. And so even some of our disasters, what I would call disasters, have turned out to go really, really well because people have, thought, well, that was a real... Oh.
How are you doing with that? Just getting down there in time. How are you making out? Good? Okay, 1 minute left.
1 minute? Woohoo! Okay, I'm gonna strain my potatoes.
Be careful, I don't burn your hands.
No.
I say that every show because it happens almost every show.
But I got a nice facial.
Smells pretty good. Oh, that's free. That was just a bonus. The facial's a bonus.
I gotta turn off my stove.
Have you had any real big celebrities come your way?
We have, unlike Mark, I won't tell tales out of school, but...
I tell tales out of school every day. I have Russell Crowe at my bar, I'm happy to say.
We actually have, not like celebrities that people would know, but we have had quite a few people that have come on their private planes.
Private jets, yes,
and, it's been...
So you've been taking people to Folk Wild Inn?
Yes, we absolutely have. Is there more lemons? Yes, there is.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
guys.
We're getting down there now. A few seconds left.
All right. Give us just one second.
Yeah, that's good. So you won't tell me who the celebrities are? They're just
Well,
wealthy
they're probably
people.
wealthy people, I guess. Yeah.
So did you have David Letterman? No.
No, we didn't. No, but there are people that, as I said, are new to our destination largely because of Fogo Inn.
Right.
But they are people who have been fantastic to work with. But yeah, it is kind of funny. Like the one gentleman was like, I want to do this, this, and this, and I have 3 days. And I'm like, that's impossible. And he was like, oh, but I have my own plane. I'm like, it is possible.
Okay, I'm gonna let you plate that up while,
All right.
while we go to break.
All right.
I'm not gonna not let you finish.
Are we not?
Look at that clean plate there,
Oh,
Jill.
you got your plate on. Oh my
We'll let you finish up.
Oh, sorry. I didn't
There we
realize
go.
that.
As Jill finishes up, they'll take a break. Stay tuned to Scoff Off. Welcome back to Scoff Off. Guys, that was a lot of fun. And it's hard to cook and talk, isn't it?
Really?
I know, and 20 minutes goes by like that. It goes by really quickly. So Jill, tell me about your dish. Now, you've never used the cauliflower
No.
rice before.
I hadn't, so I sauteed some peppers, onions with some of your peri-peri seasoning and just followed the instructions for the cauliflower rice. I tasted it to the side. I thought it tasted quite nice. And just garnished with some lime and some
Any
parsley.
seasoning on your
I
trout?
didn't. I just did butter
Okay.
and good old trout, some
And you
potatoes.
boiled some potato.
I boiled some potatoes. My butter is after
on.
melting, and onions. So I went for the
Okay, I'm gonna try this
traditional Newfoundland fare of you got to have a potato in your meal or it's not a meal.
Okay, that's good. Gotta try the thing that you were. So Sam is a little trout. And your potatoes cooked, which is really good.
I am a bit of an expert on the potato, I have to say.
Now yours.
Mine, I did.
baked this?
I did bake the trout. I did just salt, pepper, and some onion, a little lemon to finish.
Yep.
And then again, I too had not cooked very much before, and definitely not cauliflower rice, but I did follow the instructions, and I just chopped up some peppers, put in some of the peri-peri sauce right in the pan with some water. So, see what you think, B. Got a
Nice
little-
bit of flavor in that. And your trout was cooked nice.
It does look really good, Mark. You did a good job.
Focused on quality and convenience, there isn't much you won't find at Marie's Mini Mart. Home-style breads, sandwiches, plus a variety of artisan breads and delicious single-serve desserts available exclusively at our Frecker Drive location. Marie's Mini Mart, with 25 locations wherever you go, there we are.
Yellow Belly food means fresh food. We source our ingredients locally and prepare them from scratch. Our meat is never frozen. Food's so delicious, we've got Good Times cornered. Yellow Belly Brewery, a proud sponsor of One Chef, One Critic.
If you have a comment about this